This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
It's Nordo in for PA. Beautiful Thursday. Brett Blakemore by my side. And let's just jump into it. I'm watching the 153rd Open at Portrush right in front of my face. So I got to get on the hotline with Rocco Mediate, who's played in his fair share of these. How you been, Rocco?
Everything's good. Back home now, which is good, and just hanging around for a few weeks. I watched some of it this morning. Classic Open conditions. Classic.
Did you do you wake up at just in the middle of the night to get yourself on Greenwich Mean Time to soak this in, or at least you just maybe get up a little early, toss it on when the coffee gets rolling?
No. I don't do any of those. I just kind of wait, get up, and I'll watch the highlights. But no, it's so cool because a lot of people would do exactly that because it's such a neat event. But you could see this morning it was raining, then it was nice, then it was raining, then it was windy. It just changes every minute.
Yeah, it's fun to see that too. And then links golf. A rube like me will think that's a massive difference. What say you? Like I liken it to college football where everybody who has to play Navy or Army and deal with the triple option for the first time in 10 years,
right.
That's different. Is it the same thing with links golf?
Oh, God, yeah. It's all, most of the time it's played on the ground, and it's usually too firm to carry the ball like we do here. Like if I have 150 yards to the hole on a normal green, I'm trying to fly at 148, with an 8-iron, right?
Yeah.
Well, over there, I'm trying to hit it. If it's 150, I'm trying to fly at 135-ish and let it bounce up there. It's a little wet over there today, but you could see the ball still taking a huge first skip with that water. Because what I was listening to McGinley last night, and he said it's they're fescue greens, which is a really cool grass. It's just a native grass over there, and the water lays on top of it like it's like a film, or it doesn't really soak in. It does, but it still lays on top more so, no matter if it's just a teeny bit of water. So it's a skip, big time skip, and then it'll grab a little bit. But it's still linksy today, and it's supposed to be crap weather all week, which is normal for there.
Is this in some ways like the U.S. Open in some respects, where it's like, man, if I can hit a massive low number on Thursday and then just kind of hang on for my life through the weekend, is there a similar approach to the Open as there is to the Open on our side of the pond?
Yes, usually like the first couple days, like Thursday and Friday is when it's going to be set up. And I don't want to say easiest, but not as hard as the weekend. So if you can really shoot some good scores on the first 2 days, you'll be ahead of the game. Because they'll tighten it down just like the USGA does as the week goes on. Pins will be tougher. The weather's not up to them, but the pins will be tougher. And if you usually the first day is when if you can make a score, they're going to let you make a score.
Yeah.
I saw when I left 4 under was lead, which is pretty good first day score for that weather. For that weather.
You played in 9 of these, not as many as you participated in the other 3 majors. What was unique or different, putting kind of your player glasses on? What the experience of heading over there, what did you take from that?
Yeah, just going over, 6 hours different from 5 hours different from the East Coast. So you go over and get there in the morning. I'd try to get there in the morning and go right to the golf course. You'll be tired, but just stay up all day and then go to sleep your normal time, and it gets you not right back on schedule, but it helps. But that was the deal. And back then there was like player stuff at the golf course, but not much. Now they have a whole tent that's just completely different. It was like survival in the old days, which was fun because, the hotels were fine. The food is different. You could always find something good to eat in the towns we were at, and we always did, usually. Believe it or not, really good Chinese food there. Ooh. Really good over there.
Okay.
So, which is weird, right? It's really weird, but it's a challenge, but it's cool, because we're not used to going over there. The time changed, the golf course changed, but the fans were always the best in the business. The fans over there, really cool.
It's kind of crazy because I'm thinking, you're on quote unquote their turf, Rocco, but over the last 25 Opens, you go back to 99. You guys didn't play golf outside in 2020 for some weird reason. Interesting. So that was canceled. But the flu. Paul Lowry, the Scott in 99, Patty Harrington 07-08, Darren Clark 2011, Rory 2014. Most recently was Shane Lowry in 2019 at Portrush, actually, where they are now. Just 6 out of 25. This isn't exactly an event that's dominated by its own countrymen.
No, any major guys are getting ready no matter where they're from. And everyone asks you, well, how long does it take for you to get used to conditions? Well, like 10 minutes. It doesn't take, we're good enough to where, how long does it take to get rid of to get used to the greens? Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the pitching around there, today it's a little softer, so the pitching becomes easier. When it becomes firmer, then it's really tight, which I enjoy. So you have to learn there's different things. You're not a lot of flop shots from around the greens unless you're in the rough over there. Pitching from that tight grass, you have to really know what you're doing. So it's different because we don't get those. We get firm conditions over here, obviously, but not. I'm talking firm like concrete. Sometimes that ground is. So you got to be right on. And then, bouncing, bounce. You can hit perfect drives all day, never hit a fairway.
Right.
Because if it takes a weird bounce, it's going in one of the bunkers, and you have to deal with that. It's just like the U.S. Open, but even more severe because there's so much slow, little bumps. Those courses were built hundreds of years ago. They weren't bulldozers. Those are all done by hand. So it's like you're going to get some funky bounces, and you got to deal with it. But around the greens is where it's tough over there. But the greens the greens are usually way slower than what we play over here. They're 10.5, which is slow nowadays. So you got to hammer it on the greens, which is kind of good because you can be more aggressive. I feel like over there most of the time.
Well, I was reading something that's interesting because I was reading in advance of the tourney earlier this week, the idea that based upon which hole you're on and depending upon if you have bunkers or maybe a hill that provides some cover, that wind could actually affect putting of all things. Now, you know how new do again, Rube-like or novice I am in this respect. I never would have thought that wind in its own right would impact you guys on the linoleum.
Oh, absolutely. It's when it's blowing hard. If it's blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, it will move the ball on the green unless it's protected. A lot of those greens, where they are this week, they play in between the sand dunes, and so some of the wind's taken away around the greens, some of it. But when they're exposed out there on the water, it'll move the ball. And then that's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
See, the wind should move it a little left. Really? Well, it might not. Putting's hard as it is. So it's so hard to judge that. So hard. And then you'll hit it where you think the wind's going to move it. The wind will lay down a little bit through the middle of the putt and you miss by 6 feet. So it's just hard. It's a hard place to play, but I always enjoyed it a lot. I loved going over there.
Well, let's go back in time a bit. Last time you were nice enough to join me, Rocco, we did talk about the 08 U.S. Open, and then a month later, you're at Royal Birkdale.
What a place.
In beautiful spot, right? And I think you were top 20 in that tourney. And I do want to get to that because it kind of speaks to how wonky the Open can become over there. But, what was that mentally for you like? You had the moment, of course, but then you got to move forward, right? And there's much more golf to play. Was there anything different about that month leading up to the 08 Open overseas after the U.S. finish?
Yeah, no, I was just ready to go. I love Birkdale. Birkdale's where I played my first Open in 91. That would have been 120th Open, basically.
Jeez, yeah.
What is it?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think so. I can add. It was really cool. I missed the cut, but I went, man, I love that. I just didn't. I hit some shots that you're not supposed to hit over there. They bounced too far. I didn't do the right thing. Learning to play over there, but I loved it. Even though I didn't play the weekend, I absolutely went, oh my gosh, I'm coming back. Coming back to one of these. And then Birkdale in 08. What was that? A bunch of years later, I was like up on near the lead after the first round. I played beautifully the first day, but maybe the hardest starting hole on the face of the earth. Just saying, at Birkdale.
Really?
It's so hard, but it was so much fun. Yeah, and it's just I was playing reasonably well after that Open, and I just went over there a few days early and kind of hung around the golf course and hit a lot of shots, talked to a lot of the members. That's what I like to do, is meet people there and see what's going on. But, and all of a sudden I played good. Pretty much. I don't know where I finished, but I played pretty good. It was fun.
Well, here's where I was going with it, because you were tied with Graham McDowell, and I think it was Allenby at 1 under after Thursday. You guys were tied atop the leaderboard. You got the finish at the U.S. Open. Now Rocco's really feeling his oats. He's tied for the lead after Thursday. But then suddenly the course got angry, and everybody the next 3 days we're seeing +6s. We're seeing, I think, second place at the end of the day. Harrington Eagles 18 finishes, I think, 3 over for the tourney. Second place was like 7 over, Rocco. Is that how quickly the tide turns, right?
It can turn in a second. It's like, and you can also get a draw. Like, you can be off in the morning wave on Thursday and Friday and have no chance to make the cut after the week when you look back.
Yeah.
Because, it could be blowing 30 in the morning and perfect in the afternoon, you're finished. The draw, because it's off 1 tee. So the starting times go from like 6:30 to 4.
Right.
During the day. So if you're off at 2 and the wind's down and you're playing good, you could take advantage of it. And in the morning, the guys are out there with 30-mile-an-hour winds. So the draw is huge, especially the first 2 days. Because, when I think Ernie did this at Muirfield years back, the morning group it was perfect out. And a lot of low scores were shot at Muirfield. And then in the afternoon, it was almost unplayable. Like 77 was the average score in the afternoon, when 60 or 69 or 8 was the average score in the morning. That can happen in a heartbeat. And it's just the way it is. If you get the bad draw, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Unless you play unbelievable and just hang in there. Because you'll see sometimes, like if there's 70 guys make the cut, 60 will come from the draw, the right draw.
Yeah.
65 will come from the right draw. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
So is there, and I'm looking, Ricky Fowler, 2 under through 8. Let's go, Ricky.
Good boy.
Absolutely. The camaraderie, there's competition among those of you that play at the highest level. And I'm just curious, like during a tournament, is as much as what is on the line and everything associated with everyone looking for the claret jug, but what's the clubhouse like? I mean, on a weekend where things get weird and get bad for everybody, do you guys get together in the clubhouse, kind of commiserate, like, man, I'm feeling your 5 over today because I shot a 7, the hole of death. There's probably one of those in any particular round.
We do sometimes. It depends. Because a lot of times you're not there at the same time, but there's not a lot of hanging in the locker rooms. You talk to your buddies, or sometimes you're sitting there talking to different guys. And the locker rooms over there, I mean, they're cool. They're just different, old, hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
Like the same locker they built 150 years ago. And it's so cool, metal, some of them are wood. But you sit there and talk, and because it can be so brutal that you can't even stand up. It's blowing so hard. And they keep the greens that speed so that you can continue playing those wind speeds. Because if they were like 12, you can't play the golf course. The ball will stay in the green. So, but there's a lot of talk about that. You laugh because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't do.
I hit 7-iron into 4. Hell, I hit driver 3 wood 30 yards short. It could be an hour and a half later. That's how quick it changes over there because the wind gets so nasty off that water.
Chatting with Rocco Mediate, longtime professional golfer. He's played in 9 Opens to go along with the myriad majors he played in totality. And we're chatting about the 153rd edition of the Open at Portrush. You mentioned earlier talking about one of the worst, specifically I think at Birkdale, one of the worst starting holes on the planet.
The hardest, yeah.
What goes into, at your level, everything looks difficult to me, but at your level, what goes into you identifying that as this is just, if I can get through one and make par, then I feel good about the next 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the number one at Birkdale is the hardest tee shot that you could possibly face that whole day, I think. Because there's nowhere to, you just have to come with it. In other words, if you miss the fairway, you can still make a 5. It's a par 4. You can still make a 5. But the OB hugs the right side it's like 5 yards off the right rough. There's a big fence of it's cool. And then left is toast. But the fairway's big enough. It's not huge. It's probably 30 yards across, maybe. But if you just got to come with it. You got to just hit the best drive you can hit. And then you're standing there anywhere from a 3-iron to a 7-iron, depending on the wind. But if you miss, you could be there for hours. Because it is a nightmare if you miss, if you hit it to the right. But it's just a hard start. Muirfield's not a bad start. It's kind of more open, but Birkdale was always, I thought, the hardest. I played 7 different courses, I think, in the Open, or 6. That was always the hardest start, I thought.
Okay.
But you just got to come with it. You can't, lay up. I guess you could, because you could hit a 5-iron off the tee and a 5-iron in the sandwich, but who's going to do that?
Was it tough for you when you were playing? And you mentioned it, so maybe this is a bit redundant, but kind of the idea, you play in Bob's Plumbing Invitational 2 weeks before a major. So, there are different, some players don't play in every PGA Tour event. They are generally, it appears, more geared up specifically towards the majors. I don't know what your mindset in particular was for years of your career, but kind of you know what is looming at a Birkdale. You know what is looming in a U.S. Open, but you also got to get through this XYZ Buick Invitational before you get there. Was that difficult to compartmentalize week to week?
No, because it's just, when you're going over there, and sometimes you go early. Sometimes you don't play the week before. I never did. I never played the week before. I went early, so I get used to it, the time change.
And that Chinese food.
It doesn't really have an effect, really. You're just trying, if you're playing it wherever you're playing over here, knowing you're going over there next week, no, you're not thinking about that, because it's a whole different animal. You almost can't practice for it until you get there, almost. You can hit low shots all day on the range or something, but as far as the ground, forget it. You got to wait to get over there and see what they present, and then you just go. It doesn't take long. Believe me, you got to get the lines off the tee, because a lot of them are blind. Not a lot of them, but actually a lot of them. There's a lot of blind tee shots over there.
Really,
you got to know where you're going. But that's the hardest part. Is if in a new course, if some of those courses over there, if they send you out by yourself, you may never come back. You don't know where you'll be. So you have to figure out the routing and, where your line is off the tee, and then you're good. It does take a little time.
Is there some, at some point you had to just start trusting in your shot to the extent that you could shoot it blindly? But then, are you picking flags off of grandstands? You're picking tree markers? Are you taking notes on this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. Grandstands over there are huge, because a lot of them are put, and I think they do it on purpose to give you a clue on where, because, there's so many grandstands now over there, and they're huge, as you see. They're cool. Way different than what we have. So you can use the corners. This one's off the middle of the grandstand today, and if the wind changes, this one's 40 yards right of the grandstand today. Stuff like that. So, and sometimes there's hills, and like I said, you map that out. It doesn't take that long. You map it out, knowing how I hit it. I'll know what line I want to take. It's that simple. But when the wind changes, then the whole thing changes. So instead of going at the grandstand, now I'm going to go 40 yards left of it, and the same thing happens. So that's what you really have to know.
Time for a few more with Rocco Mediate here. I saw this news, and I don't know how well you know him, and maybe that doesn't really matter, but going back to Oakmont, right. Wyndham Clark beats up the locker room. He gets banned from it until, quote unquote, he makes a meaningful contribution to a charity selected by Oakmont. And then he has to undergo some counseling and or anger management therapy. That part's interesting. So you can throw a fit, you can throw a club, you can lose your mind, just don't trash the place, right?
Disrespectful, disgusting, pathetic. I don't know what else you could use. You're destroying. First of all, it doesn't belong to you. You're a guest.
Right.
Okay. So respect the place. Okay. Don't be an ass and become a child. If it was me, I'd have banned him from any Open now. You're done. Oh yeah, you're a U.S. Open champion. Guess what? You can't play anymore. Nice job. Now, hopefully he does the right thing and says, of course he knows it was a mistake. What do you need from me? Let's fix it. Let's give money to the charity. The anger management part, I don't know. Everybody's crazy, right, in our sport. But don't go and do something that disrespectful and then say, we're just going to move on. Have some class.
Well, there's got to.
It's just disgusting. The way some of these people act, it's disgusting.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm trying to find a level of humor in this, Rocco, where he has to sit in a circle with other people. And hi, my name's Wyndham Clark.
I got even more humor. One of my best buddies, Jeff Dyer, at home in Pennsylvania. I was just with him last week for a minute. One of his best buddies, that was his locker.
Oh no.
So he goes, this is great because everybody wants to take a picture in front of my locker. This is fantastic. I'm not going to fix it. It's pretty funny. But, yeah, I know the level of, could you see him sitting there like, yeah, hi, I'm Wyndham Clark. I destroy lockers and because I can't control myself. Can you guys help me? I mean, stop it. It's just golf. Just stop. I mean, it's actually humorous that you would have to think you would have to go get counseling to control your anger after you had a bad day. I mean, and on a golf course.
Yeah. The worst day on a golf course isn't exactly a bad day. I mean, if you look at it in the grand scheme, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I already have like $20 million in the bank. It's okay. I had a bad week. Okay. Just move on, be quiet, show some class, period. Go ahead and try to argue that one. Go ahead.
Totally with you. If you were, I mean, you've been doing this for 4 decades, and I loved kind of even hearing back. You 91, I think you mentioned your first Open, and you didn't make the cut, but there was such a learning process associated with that you probably grew from. But if you were trying to become a pro today, Rocco, as you see things from your vantage point, is there any bit of a different focus in terms of whether the game's changed or just you look back mentally and just think, this was where I should have maybe followed my path, but I went this way instead? Is if you were becoming a pro, how differently or similarly would you look at trying to get yourself on the tour?
Yeah, it's different now for sure. It's we kind of found that on error with hitting a lot of balls if we were looking for a new driver, we'd hit a couple drivers. The ball that went the furthest, that's the one we'd use.
Yeah,
that's the driver we'd use. We didn't have the machines, and there's nothing wrong with the machines, but we learned a little different. Not all of them, but most of them learned very much like technical. We just learned to get the ball around the golf course. And we learned to swing the way we needed to swing. We weren't concerned about hitting it 500 yards. That was never talked about. All my years on the PGA Tour, we never ever once talked about distance. We knew guys who hit it far. We didn't care.
Right.
That's all they talk about now. So it's changed as far as longevity because bodies, as you're watching, fail with the way they're trying to hit the ball. Not bad golf swings, just golf swings that make your body explode as time goes because of what you have to do to make it go so far.
Right.
So it's like the body doesn't like that. And as you see, there's a lot of injuries. So longevity goes away. Way more money that they're playing for, which I think is great because it's like a major league pitcher. And I love that. I love the major league pitcher guys, but you got a guy making $100 million. He's working once a week.
Yep.
Okay. And if he doesn't play good, he still makes $100 million. Well, you got Scheffler last year making $60-some million. He won 9 tournaments. But if he doesn't play good, he doesn't make $60 million. Yeah, he has contracts, but he doesn't make $60 million. See, so it's like, I think it's great that golf is moving in the same direction as the other sports. It's a different game. You can't compare them. But at least it's moving that way as far as money. The guys are making we made a lot of money when we played too. Don't get me wrong. It was, it's all relative.
Well, I'm glad you went the way you did on that, Rocco, because I've experienced it, whether it's in the NFL and other sports, as you mentioned, and the direction they've gone financially. There are people, admittedly, who may be in your spot, whether they're on the back end of prime, they are in the twilight years of a career, or they've been retired for years, and it almost feels like there's an inherent resentment about. Well, the money I made in the mid-'80s.
Oh, there is. Oh, no, there's plenty of guys like that. But it's like, when we played and we got our first $1 million purse, we were like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. It can't keep getting bigger. And then it kept getting bigger. And then Tiger showed up, and that was the end. Everything went off the map because it should have. This is one of the greatest athletes of all time. But no, I think it's awesome that it's like guys can make. What did I make in my PGA Tour career? Like $17 or $18 million. They can make that in like 3 weeks. If you win the right tournaments, you can make 17, 15 million bucks in like 3 weeks. and I that's fine with me. I think it's unbelievable because it's catching up to what it should be.
Yeah.
Because golf is a big time sport, obviously. And obviously it's not paid, the fans don't directly pay for it, like, especially like in baseball and, all those more spectator sports, but, it's catching up and I think it's great. I think, Scheffler winning, like I said, 60, 70 million last year playing golf is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. Guys were Instagram people like, they're playing for too much money. I'm like, what? Why would someone say that?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well,
if you're good enough to be the best, you should be paid for it.
Indeed. And the cool part about it, you mentioned it with Tiger and such, is when you have that, everybody eats, right? I mean, in some ways, everybody gets fed.
Absolutely.
When you have an iconic figure like that leading the way, that's a really big deal, and it's a great thing for the sport.
It benefited all of us, and now it's benefiting these guys. Since he's basically not playing any right now, but the benefits will be forever. When he comes out on the Champions Tour next year, which he's gonna. Whether he plays one event or 10 events, we don't really care. We just want to see him again, People will lose their minds out there. You won't even be able to get into the event when he shows up. I don't care if he I don't care what he does. The fact that he's going to show up will be unbelievable. But that's just the impact he has, no matter what he does, is second to none. No one's ever been close. So when he comes out and hangs out with us, it's going to be hilarious because you won't be able to get it. It'll be like a U.S. Open in Hawaii. If he comes to Hawaii next year, whatever he does. Yeah, I'm sure he'll play some because what else is he going to do? He wants to compete and beat people's ass. He doesn't care how old they are. He did something. I'll tell you this last thing. A couple years ago, we were at Strick's event in Madison. Well, exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I said to Strick, hey, I wonder if we changed. This is all for greed and what we want, because we want him out there like right now because we want him to play again, right? I said, for greedy aspect on our part, I wonder if we change the Champions Tour age to 48 for him. Would he come out and play? So Strick texts him, like right there. And he goes, hey, Tiger, if we change the age to 48, would you come and play? And within 8 seconds, F no. I'm like, darn it. And I said, ask him why. He goes, why? He goes, all the Champions Tour records started at age 50. Why would they change for me? That's Tiger Woods right there.
Tiger Woods. Wow. That's
so
awesome,
what does that mean? That means he's coming. And if he does come and he's healthy, he wants the records.
Well, isn't it like Bernard Langer or somebody who, he's kind of the top of the food chain in terms of the Champions Tour records, right?
Yeah. Now, will Tiger beat that record? I don't know that he'll play enough. If his body holds up, because, it's funny, Bernhard's 67 now and still plays great.
Jeez.
Okay, but if Tiger's body holds up, you don't know what he's going to do because we've already seen what he did when he's healthy and on the regular tour for all those years. But the fact that he'd be able to come out and hang out, if he wants to jump in a cart, he's allowed. It's not a problem. Half the guys take carts out there. The kid can't walk as much anymore. So great, take a cart. In fact, I'll drive him around and watch him play. It's no problem. So it would be cool for hopefully we see him. I think we're gonna. But that's Tiger Woods. Nope. If it starts at 50, that's when I'm starting. Oh, that was cool.
That's a beautiful thing. And this has been cool, Rocco. I appreciate it as always.
Yeah.
Final thing, anybody, just shooting from the hip on this, Rocco, anybody that you're looking forward to, into this weekend at Portrush?
Yeah. I talked about it on the show the other day, a few times. I love Scheffler every single time he plays. So I'm always on Scotty. Yep. Okay. Call it what you want. But I have a feeling that Rory's I don't know what's going on. We just got back. I have a feeling Rory's going to have something to say after what happened last time.
Okay.
And now that he's starting to feel okay after the finishing off the Grand Slam and having that letdown, I wouldn't know what that feels like, but it's probably a letdown after the Masters. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
He did what he needed to do, but I think now he's kind of back and he's going to have something to say. I have no idea when he plays today or what he shot. If he's done, I have no idea. But I think he has something to say.
No, I dig that.
We'll see.
Thanks as always for the time, my brother, and enjoy the day, enjoy the tourney, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Anytime. I'm here. Thanks, my friend.
That's awesome. That's Rocco Mediate. Rocco Mediate, 4 decades in this sport, and always nice enough, whether it was the U.S. Open about a month ago, and, of course, this morning, the chance to give me some time to chat about the 153rd Open at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Again, I can't believe the fact that you're on your home turf. 6 of the last 25. Maybe it's Rory. Maybe it's Rory from 2014. Now he does it again in 2025. Fitzpatrick in the lead at 4 under. I'm rooting for Ricky. I'm rooting for Fowler. Fowler and Scheffler at 2 under. Fowler is just through 9. Get a good number today, and then hold on to your butts. That kicks off 9 to noon. Nordo in for PA. That kicks off the TimberTech set list. TimberTech.com, doing decking differently. Thank you, TimberTech. You just heard from Rocco. At 10 a.m., you'll hear from Ben Lieber, weekly guest in studio 9 to noon. Appreciate his time as always. And then Brett Blakemore. It's the annual soccer segment. At 11.
One a year.
Yes, absolutely. My buddy John Bisworm, Minneapolis City Soccer Club. They are a nonprofit. They live local. They develop talent. They cultivate their version of the beautiful game right here in our great city of Minneapolis. But it's I'm allowed via the corner office 1 segment a year, and I'm pulling that segment. I'm pulling that ticket right now.
Yeah, we did your list on Tuesday. Now we get our...
I'm kind of done with lists, but I'm not done with nerdery. There's no doubt about that. Thank you, TimberTech, for the set list and the support, as always, TimberTech.com. Brett's got a cash thing, and we'll be back in moments.
I do. The fan and BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks to the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is credit for this hour. Keyword credit, KFAN.com. Keyword. Head over our contest page. Enter for your shot at a family 4-pack of early screening passes. It's the newest Marvel film, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, in theaters July 23rd. Enter today. KFAN.com. Keyword contest. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Big news taking place during the Power Trip morning show today as they unveil, perfect time of year to do it, the bracket for the Initials Game Invitational. And from this weekly segment and how it has evolved from, at one point, it was just a way to say best of luck in future endeavors to A.J. Mansour. At one point, like 12 years ago, he was going to leave the company and go do other things. I think he even technically left for let's call it 36 hours. And then he got a taste of what was on the other side of that fence, and he came back home. And he's still here, by the way. But the Initials game has evolved from just, in some ways, a segment killer, just kind of a fun one-off bit, to now it's being played in bars and restaurants throughout the metro area. And maybe beyond. I hear it's a ton of locations. And
anywhere you can ship the game to.
I believe there's also a board game in the mix. Mm-hmm. So it's certainly grown. And I noticed something, because how long have you been at the Fan, Brett?
Approaching in a couple weeks 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. 6 years, and love working with you. And you have... how much, you've learned, right? And you've kind of, in some ways, been the irreplaceable utility guy. Whether you're working down the hall, you're working here, you're working there, you're working everywhere, and just kind of expanding your breadth of information. So, with that said, one thing that you've never done is you've never participated in the Initials Game Invitational. And I think you've played once or twice, right?
Played once.
Okay, you played once. Mm-hmm. 10 other people said no. And
that's right.
And you were available. You're in the tournament this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brett Blakemore. How does it feel?
Do you remember in COVID when they had the memes of what lunch table would you want to sit at? And it had all the fan personalities. I remember seeing those and being that's my goal, is to not have, the name and spoilage or anything. But I just want to be on that meme. I want to be a part of the family where I'm thought of. You know what I mean? I think this tournament is that, where you're kind of a part of the family if you get asked. And it's been something that obviously I've really wanted, sometimes been a little impatient for. But so yeah, it's just and now it's in my hands as far as the game thing. So if I get 2, I'm back next year, but it's in my control. So I appreciate Corey for asking me. But I'm jacked, but I'm playing tomorrow, so I'm a little nervous already.
It is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
So you're the leadoff. And what seed? I don't know how many people are. Is it 45?
It's 45.
It's 45. Okay.
If you're wondering, Muss is number 45.
Well, that's for obvious reasons.
Yeah, correct. Has me at 41. Now, I'm not here I will never complain about seeding.
You're at 41.
Yeah, because I'm in it. So it's all in my hands. So I don't care what seed you put me at.
Is it like your own personal locker room material? I mean, it's the 41. You doubt me, and you kind of roll in fancy free, right? I mean, you technically you may look at it as having something to prove, but you definitely have nothing to lose, right?
No, I mean,
who are you going against?
So here's the matchup for tomorrow. So it's 44 seed Dav,
okay,
your guy,
yeah.
Me, 23 seed Carly Zucker.
Okay.
17 seed Maxo,
okay.
Max Fuller, but then the big hitter, number 5 seed .com Tom Pelissero.
Oh, you got no chance.
That's a tough matchup.
No,
that's
lose.
A tough pull.
You'll do better than Dav, than Danny DeVito. You'll absolutely do better than Dav. That's the best that I can give you at this point. Carly will surprise you.
Yeah, she can play.
Max is always game, and you're gonna. I mean, he's looking for an opportunity to take his shirt off, so he's gonna need to get 2 or 3.
He'll probably already be validate the kimono.
That.
Yeah,
he might be, and you know what? We accept that. This is a weird workplace. This is a weird workplace where a lot of things, whether it's internet search histories on company computers, and in some cases clothing choices, there's a lot more leeway here than maybe in your traditional corporate environment. Well, I'm happy for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you know what? I'm going to root for you.
I'll take that.
Just beat Dav.
Well,
just beat Dav. Dav needs to be humbled. And I adore Dav. Dav is my brother from a different mother. I hope he gets 0. And I hope the one that clicks in his head and he's just ready, and he'll never admit it, but I'll picture it, is he finally, after sitting there silent, thinking about video games and thinking about things that aren't pertaining to the tournament, he's just ready. I finally got one, and he's just about to say his name, and you snipe him. And he leaves with 0. He leaves with freaking nothing. That's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Well, best of luck. I mean, 41. You're all you can ask for is a ticket to the dance.
That's correct.
And you got one.
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet, man.
Not mad about the seat at all. I'm just happy I'm there.
Congratulations. Let's catch up on the clock, and we'll jump into some Viking specific bits around the corner again. Lieber's in studio at 10, and Johnny Bisworm, Minneapolis City Soccer Club, will be in studio at 11. But much more to come as it's Nordo in for PA 9 to noon right here on the Fan. 9:51, Ben Lieber around the corner. Vikes Bites.
Vikes Bites. Vikes Bites.
It's brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. You can shop online. A box of meat will show up at your doorstep. You can go to Coburn's, Co-ops, Kowalski's. My freezer's packed with their various cuts. I get a couple of strips, some flanks. They got all kinds of cuts of beef. You can go big, smoking a brisket, if so and compelled and inclined. But check out a local product, Clearwater, Minnesota's finest, Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. And before we get to Vikes Bites, we have some special guests in studio here, and I believe whether these are potentially future Minnesota broadcasters. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name's Eric. Let's start. Not shy to hop on the mic. What is your name, Miss?
Grace.
Grace. Okay. What grade are you in?
I'm going into 4th.
4th grade. Okay. And you are potentially a future broadcaster. Am I getting that right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, it's nice to meet you, and thanks for hanging out with me. And one of your classmates here. What's your name, sir?
Henry.
Henry. Okay, Henry. And you want to be a broadcaster as well?
Maybe.
Maybe. Just kind of getting a feel for it, a taste for it, if you will.
Yeah.
Not afraid of the microphone at all. You are you both sports fans? Grace, are you a sports fan?
Yeah.
What's your favorite team?
The Lynx.
Okay, Minnesota Lynx. How good are they this year, by the way?
They're really good this year.
Yeah, they got to the title game last year, or the title series last year, couldn't get over the hump against the Liberty. This is their year, though, right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. What about you, Henry?
I'm a Packers fan.
Oh, you're a Packers
My
fan?
guy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Packers.
No shortage. You should have seen this, Brett.
Finally, someone's here with me.
He just leaned back in his chair. He just crossed his arm. I'm a Packers fan.
That's right.
I'm a Packers fan. What do you love about the Packers?
Well, they're just all around amazing.
Yeah, they're just better.
We have the youngest team in the NFL.
They're better than the Vikings because they've had so many more Super Bowls.
Well, hold on. I didn't know this was an ambush here. What is happening?
Now you're outnumbered.
This is not fair. I was not prepared for this. You hit me with the Lynx, Grace, and then now suddenly you're a Packers fan. You're a Packers fan too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so they're a better team. They have Super Bowls. What say you, Henry? Why do you love the Packers?
Well, Matthew Golden.
Okay.
Coming straight out of Texas.
Straight out of Texas.
Fastest player in the draft. He did so well at Texas.
He did.
And I feel like he's just going to be Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
Okay.
Especially with Jordan Love at the helm for the quarterback.
Now, Jordan Love had a tough year last year. Had the knee injury to start the season. And if you remember, my Vikings, that's my favorite team. So now we can just set the precedent. The battle line is drawn in the sand here, Henry, and Grace as well. We staked a 28-0 lead, handled business against you at
You almost
Lambeau.
lost it.
Yeah, we tried. We got bored.
No, you didn't.
The team got bored, Henry.
Then why'd you keep your starters in?
Well,
If you got bored, then why'd you keep your starters in?
Well, it's about W's and L's, and we wanted W's. We swept your Packers team. We staked, I believe,
you guys lost to the Rams in the playoffs. You lost to the Super Bowl winners.
You did lose to the Eagles. Now, we did sweep you in the regular season last year. Your team was also swept by the Lions. You split with the Bears. Your team only won one divisional game last year. What leads you to believe that it's going to be so much better?
Well, we had
Vikings
such a great
lost
offseason
players.
year.
Just a great offseason.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to. Well, I'm impressed with your sports knowledge, Henry. I'm impressed with your sports knowledge, Grace. What do you think about the studio? Could you get used to this where you're hanging out in the studio? Okay, you're not lifting heavy things. You're not working. You're not working in a coal mine. You get to talk about sports. You both love sports, right?
Yeah. I don't think it'd be better than an NFL field, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. We got to find now. You're going into fourth grade as well, right?
I'm going into sixth.
You're going into sixth grade. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of time between now and when you graduate from high school and you find a direction that you want to go. Mm-hmm. But if you had to choose, so you have NFL on the mind as well. So this is almost like your backup.
Yeah, kind of.
Like your sefty spot of being a sports broadcaster.
Like my safety. This is my safety type thing.
Safety.
Because, well, I did this thing in fifth grade where you got to pick what you do for an assignment. And I chose to redesign my house. And I think that's a great backup.
Are you kidding me? It's interesting you bring that up, Henry, because you might end up in broadcasting. And to be honest with you, now that I've met you, you know how cool it would be for me to watch you on an NFL field someday? That's unbelievable. But the trades, learning a skill, redesigning houses, building something, that's an incredible idea. Oh, that's awesome. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for bringing some actual sports knowledge to the 9 to noon show this morning. Thank you, Grace. It was very nice to meet you. Go Lynx.
Yeah.
I hope the Packers lose every single game.
No.
They're going to go...
They're going to win every single game.
They're going to go 12-5.
Henry, are you...
No, they're going to go 13-4.
Henry, are you like just a Wisconsin sports fan in general?
Nope, I'm a Knicks and Padres fan as well.
Knicks and Padres. Okay, let's mix the Yankees and Lakers in while we're at it.
No, screw the Yankees.
The Florida...
Yeah.
Okay.
No Yankees. Boo.
Oh, well, you just redeemed yourself, my young friend. Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much, Henry. So nice to meet you guys. And wherever direction you go, it was my pleasure to have you guys in studio for a segment. I guess that's Vikes Bites, brought to you by Thousand Hills, Lifetime Graze, grass-fed beef. Packers fans in the house, but I think we defended ourselves. Smart kids, though. There's no doubt about that. Lieber's next around the corner. It's 9 to noon.